So here we are at the Seminole Canyon State Park, and it's very interesting that this park has this name Seminole, and there was no information here about the Seminoles as a group of people at all. I find that very interesting. Even the rock etchings that are inside, the interpretation of them is done by people other than the indigenous people to the area, and they make it clear that they really don't understand the meaning behind it, but that they see it as art that was left by generations of people that came before. But that is the danger of just leaving your story for someone else to attempt to interpret, instead of having the opportunity to truly teach it and pass it down through your family to your children so that they pass it on for generations and generations. Because in the future, someone else can make a park with your name on it, no images of you, things that you created, but none of the meaning behind it. And so we have to keep in mind that it's so important that every day our story needs to be told. Otherwise, it can become a story that is just as dry and deserted as what feels like the desert that we're standing in here in this canyon. And the chasm then between the truth and interpretation can be as wide as this canyon. So Hanachila, think about that, yeah.
It's only 160 miles, about 3 hours driving.
From here?
Yeah. And when you get over there, you know, you see it, and it's just like it was then. Wow. They had the cemetery there, and the cemetery have all Spanish names. See, what happened, and our people went over there in 1850, you know.
Yes, I do know that.
Okay, and in 1858, the Mexican government decided to sensitize them.
Okay.
Okay, but what they did, they gave them Mexican names.
Okay.
But the names were not translated from English.
From the English to Spanish.
There was only 2 names that I know of that were translated, that you could translate back and forth. That's my name. See, my name is Warrior, it's Guerrero. Okay, and my wife's last name was July, Julian. So those 2. But see, I'm kin to the Wilsons. See, we had Wilsons, and the Wilsons they're Vasquez now. Yes. The Wilsons are Vasquez.
Okay.
And so the gardens are Flores. And then the Fays are Olivares. And then they have the Paines. And there were 3 sets of Paines. During my study, we had those 2 Medal of Honor winners down there, Adam, and then the 2 in the same thing with the fence around them. Those are Medal of Honor recipients.
Oh, okay. We'll wonder what they're.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Adam Payne and Isaac Payne.
And Isaac Payne.
Yeah.
One has a flag.
One has a flag
and
in it.
And one is P-A-I-N-E.
Yes,
and one
P-A-Y-N-E.
That was a mistake. I found out about what had happened at that. See, these guys, Adam Payne got his medal for battling in the Comanches, Quanah Parker in Palador Canyon, up around Lubbock. And he got it from General McKenzie. Those guys rode from here, well, Eagle Pass in Brackettville, all the way up there. And I rode up there for the Historical Society. I was up there speaking with the Texas Historical Society. And it's about 500 miles up there. So I wish I knew how long those guys went up there and how long it took them to come back. But, you know, they might have been gone 6 months or 8 months, you know, because they did that, you know. Wow. They said that at one time I read something, they said, to claim that you are a black Indian, you have to have been such at least 26 years. What? Well, we've been that for over 200 years.
Right, exactly.
See, we have never dropped our title as Seminoles. Right. So, and we have the place that Porfirio Diaz, you know, he's the one that gave us the 11 square miles over there in 1854. But anyhow, in 1858 is when they changed all these names. So I went into the cemetery looking for some of my family names, but then they're all Spanish. They're all
This is
Spanish.
what I find interesting. Like in the Gullah Geechee Nation where we live, everybody in the family will live right by each other. You know, instead of like one is here and then one is way down. Everybody's like across
but
the
you know
road
what?
and right around. But
If
in bracket, it looked like who's left is spread
well,
out.
they had different parts of town.
Okay.
But when they came off the reservation, they all moved in one area.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay, and where is that? Like
That's up on,
today
as you're going into Brackenville, up on that hill there by the Border Patrol and everything up there.
Okay. All right.
To see, I think.
But everybody kind of is dispersed now, like you said.
Well, they got out. They got out at different times.
Different times. Okay. Over the years.
See, because 1914 was the last bunch was off, and then some of the people, the older people, 3 or 4 families, they left them there. They said, well, when the older person died, then the younger one would have to move.
Would have to move on.
Yeah, but 1914 was. This is a thing too that we had some people that left Brackenville, never heard of them no more.
No more.
See, a lot of our people stayed in Louisiana when they were going back. When they were going from Florida to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Then they went to there. Some of them stopped in there. Yeah, some of them stayed there. But so we have Seminoles everywhere.
All over. Right.
I mean, they come out of Mississippi, Georgia. My grandmother, we have some Alabama. Did you see some of them down there?
I have met folks in every one of the states that you already mentioned over the last 20 years that all originated from our coast, from the Sea Islands, and then ended up in all the different patterns.
Some of them from South Carolina, North Carolina. See, some of them was from the Civil War.
Exactly.
Now, you were saying that y'all don't speak the language. What happened that
people start migrating in and out. And you start making it. During the war changed a lot of things. We had kids in our group that 8, 9, 10 years old had never been to Del Rio because it wasn't cars. Cars didn't run like that, you know.
Right, that's right.
When you got in a car, you was going out of town. You didn't go get in a car to go across town.
Right, I understand.
Now some of the older ladies, we had guys with cars. And they used to take the groceries home for you. You walk down and get your groceries, and they had a man. You know, he'd make his deliveries. He'd bring you groceries and drop them off at your house, you know. So, and that wasn't, well, it's been a good while, but people don't realize how things were 40, 50 years ago.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand that.
We walked a lot, you know, and some people were very poor. And we walked from school, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks to go home. My wife had like 12 blocks to go. And we got out of school at 12 o'clock, had to be back there when the bell rang at 1 o'clock.
Wow.
And you walk home, we'd be running, you see kids running.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we had a guy that would go, Willie Williams used to walk. Somehow or another, he'd be going down there. He worked for the city or something. And he walked real fast. Boy, we'd be running behind him to keep our timing up. You know? And if you didn't have those children's food ready, they had to go back without anything to eat.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I had no problem. And you know, some of the people were on relief. And I know people forget where they come from. That makes me so mad.
Me too.
You see them up there, they got these new cars in their house.
Right. So they act like
and they lived in a shack.
Before.
And they're like they had it all
the time, like a silver spoon.
And I know some that is in California now, the boy, they out there and they think that
that's it.
That, you know, and they went home to eat and they had tortillas and gravy. No meat, no nothing.
Nothing
you know?
else.
And I told my wife the other day, I said, you know, I thank the Lord. I said, I never wanted for anything. I said, I might not have got what I wanted, but I had something, you know?